The 60-day plan patch is a 9 out of 10 from a non-Krispy Kreme diver. Hello. Here's why. The amazing changes where Senator can 3-shot a Hulk in the visor because it now has heavy pin on a sidearm pistol. You can 2-shot the Jondals on a Rocket Scout Strider. That alone is phenomenal. You can kill Titans in the face. You can break the armor on Chargers and Impalers. Those 3 things take a year and a day, but it's still fun to do when it works out. Wilbur's and Hunters can explode now with certain weapons, namely the Arc Thrower, which means that you'll have less carcasses on the battlefield, and it looks sick as well. So it's like a pseudo buff and visually amazing. Automaton changes in general were phenomenal, and I mean this. The Automaton targeting, they don't have ESP wall hacks. They're no longer playing Tarkov with rage hacks while you're playing Helldivers 2, so you won't get pre-fire on corners, and you won't be dying in ways that weren't in any way, shape, or form fun like you were before. Hulk Bruiser getting the rocket arm back instead of having the bunker arm turret. Previously, it had the bunker arm turret. It could miss you and ragdoll you. Not a good time, and did a lot more damage as well. Tank undercarriage health changes. If you shoot the undercarriage of a tank, the bottom base, not the turret that spins, but the bottom base back, and blow it up, tanks die. That includes the barrager tank that usually when you blow this up, it lives, which it still does a little bit for a few seconds, but it still dies eventually. And you can break the top turret in 1 rocket from recoilless. I don't know if that's new, but they also made it so a bunch of automatons do less damage, so you get to live longer. Automatons will be way more fun to play against, mark my words. Resupplies and exosuits are marked on the minimap. Just bought your coin though. I will have it mailed tonight. I'll have it in the mailbox tonight. By the way, folks, I think my coin can ship to Canada for sure. And I'm pretty sure it can ship to UK, but I'm not 100% on that. Great changes. Purifier. Does a lot more damage when you charge it. You can 2-shot the gunship engines if you hit them. And it just feels better to use. You can also rapid fire it, which feels fun. You need to rapid fire click. Jetpack goes further horizontally, and the cooldown reduction by 5 seconds seems small, but realistically, it feels as though you're jetpacking every 2 seconds. And I'm the weird guy that forgets they even have it half the time, but this change feels great. It does still need more. Maybe if you're staying still, you get more verticality to do 2 stories instead of like 1.5. Stem pistol can be used to hit moving teammates. Before you had 30 bloom, now it's 5. 80 velocity, now it's 200, I believe. It feels way better to shoot, whatever the numbers actually are. I'll put them on the screen. High explosive nade, frag nade, all these feel better. They do a lot more damage. Folks like it. That's pretty cool. Anti-tank mines do 2,000 damage up from 800. So you'll be killing chargers, tanks more consistently, and even battle titans now. They seem to take at least 2 mines, and they are still kind of hard to hit, but it works. Tesla Tower fires every second. That doesn't mean a whole lot because they'll get taken out in 1 second by a charger if they see it. So bring stun grenades, bring arc thrower to stun it, and help your tower that can also stun it. But I like Tesla Tower a lot, so I'm putting it in great. Is what it is. Increased heavy unit spawn. I think there seems to be a lot more Hulks, Chargers, and whatnot, and I think that's great. It gives me a reason to take anti-tank weapons more often. I like that. Good/okay changes. Scorcher has full auto rapid fire mode and 20 rounds per magazine. Feels fun. Throwing knives. You get 20 of these things. I do wish I had more armor pin, but I like throwing knives in terms of concept, and they're kind of a fun thing to use every now and again. So I'll put them up here as well. Incendiary grenade. If it had increased incendiary damage, it'd go in great. But just increasing the explosion damage by 150 doesn't do a whole lot for me. Guard dog. It hits things it's supposed to hit now. It goes for the Jondals on the Scout Rocket Strider. It goes for the upper torso on a Shieldin. So it seems more accurate, does more damage, and it has a bit more ammunition. I wouldn't say it's amazing though, but it is nicer. Eagle Strafing Run. I used it, didn't really notice a big difference, but I saw the patch notes and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Orbital Airburst. It lasts longer. That is noticeable. You can see that happen. But Machine Gun Sentry, Gatling Sentry, these have reduced cooldowns and they fire for a bit longer. They have more ammunition. The one that has a shorter cooldown, I think, got a pretty decent buff overall because it lasts almost as long as the cooldown's back up when it goes away, essentially. Autocannon Sentry, Rocket Sentry, they also have reduced cooldowns. That alone is phenomenal. And heavy armor reduces damage taken by an extra 5%. Light armor reduces damage taken by an extra 8%. Less than ideal or changes. Plaza Punisher, Liberator, Lib Pin, Lib Carbine, Adjudicator, Tenderizer. Verdict. Weapons that got buffed, and I can barely tell, except for Adjudicator, which has 5 more ammunition per magazine. That's cool, but they still don't feel that great. And this is not a assault rifle support group. For folks that want that, there's videos we posted saying, Adjudicator's life-changing now, guys. That'll be on the internet sometime soon, so check it out when it happens. Autocannon Flak. It's neat, don't get me wrong. It functions like the airburst rocket launcher, where the autocannon, when in the flak mode, will explode in a radius next to the enemy. That will trigger on dead enemies, such as Battle Titan carcasses and whatnot. And it's good against Wilburs, Hunters, and Pouncers. Or I'd say decent versus those monsters. Versus Warriors, not so much. Hive Guards, no. Nursing Spears, Battle Spears, no. I think it could serve as just a possibility that it works in the future and be amazing for maybe stalwart poison rounds, instant rounds. Just suggesting some sick ideas for that weapon to make it worth using. Recoilless rifle, high explosive rounds. I forget what it's actually called, but these are essentially the same thing, except they don't have flak. They're just a explosion when they hit something. It gives you a blast radius that I don't think is worth really using. It's potentially neat if you have 4 Devastators and you take them out real quick. But wasting one of your 6 recoilless rifle rockets on that just seems a little excessive when you have other options potentially. The idea is awesome. The way it feels to use, not so much. Machine gun HMG. They both got, I believe, 25 more rounds, something like that. That's it. HMG still has 33% less durable damage, and it has a way worse angle of deflection. I'm not going to say it's a good change to just have 25 more rounds in that thing. No shot. Airburst rocket launcher, faster reload by like around 2 seconds. And Hunter reduced jump area. Or Hunters, when they jump on you, supposedly, they're supposed to trigger a cooldown essentially where you can't have 4 Hunters jump at the same time. Maybe that exists, but the cooldown's not very long to the point that 100 jumps on you, hits you, or gets close to hitting you. You go to pop a stem, and the next one can jump on you and interrupt said stem. So if they fix the stem, I think it's a noticeable change. If they don't fix the stem not going off when it should, it's still eh. But I respect the goal, I guess. Bad changes. Stalwart blue ballin'. You can't be hyping up a stalwart buff and then you drop ergonomic increase. Who in their right mind wanted ergonomics to be buffed on the stalwart? I know I did a while back, but I said that because I wanted the HMG to have better ergonomics. To do that, you buff the machine gun, and to do that, you buff the stalwart. Got to do a chain reaction of ergonomic increasing, making weapons more fun to shoot essentially. But you can't just be doing this. You about lost a big fan. It wasn't me, it was Ogre. Ogre almost quit the game off of this here tactic. So just know that your shenanigans, Arrowhead, about lost you a long time machine gun stand. And guess what? Them people are hard to come by. Actually, maybe not. I don't believe in the machine gun Scientology stuff going on. Shield Gen Relay got nerfed. I don't think it was intentional by any means, but not having the ability to regenerate the shield once it goes down feels horrible against the bots. On probably even level 8 difficulty. It does not take much to break that shield, and the regeneration rate being increased does not make up for the damage that the shield takes. It was rough before, so getting a 25% extra HP regeneration rate is not going to make it meaningful to take on, I'd probably say 7 or higher difficulty in most cases where you actually want to have the shield. You're better off taking smoke screen now. Then we have Impalers, which I believe are more accurate. I think Impalers are more accurate now. I say it's a bad change because in the current state of the bugs, we have Alpha Commanders, I think are terrible. We have Charger Behemoths that take more damage to kill for no reason than Chargers. That still doesn't feel good. I stand on that hill. I will die on that hill. And what else? Oh, and now the potential of Impalers being more accurate. Those 3 things, not going to feel good. It's the reason why I think that bots will easily become more fun to play, at least in my case, since bugs are going to feel worse. For lack of a better term, lack of a better explanation. Anywho, I'm going to probably go ahead and explain the patch notes and just read them for folks that want to hear that be read. But I think it's more fun doing it like this and talking about them briefly instead of just like going into a freaking full-on Dr. Suess reading session. So if you like that, let me know. A comment and a like and stuff goes a long way to show me I'm doing decent in that regard. Additional supply items are now visible on the minimap. Exosuits and support stratagems. Remove ricochet from orbital stratagem projectiles, Eagle 1 bombs, and the FAF spear missiles. They can no longer ricochet off targets. Both heavy and light armor are now more effective. Stratagems and weapon tag description updates. They now show more information and are also categorized. Armor Pen 2 is classified as light armor pen. Armor Pen 3 is medium. Armor Pen 4 is heavy. And Armor Pen 5 Plus is classified as anti-tank. Primary weapons, plasma projectile behavior. We've standardized the behavior of all plasma projectiles, which previously had varying characteristics in how they traveled through the air. Now all plasma projectiles experience high drag, causing them to slow down faster. However, each plasma weapon still fires projectiles at different speeds and calibers. With the Plasma Punisher, you'll see a less pronounced arc in its projectile path. Instead, it will start off faster and lose speed more rapidly, keeping its effective range about the same. The Purifier. Projectiles can now be charged up with a damage multiplier at scales. Minimum charge 0.1 seconds gives you 50% damage multiplier, and max charge of 1 second gives you a 100% damage multiplier. Maximum charge projectile damage increased by 100, max charge durable damage increased by 50, and max charge explosion damage increased by 150. It sounds good on paper. Explosion doesn't scale, but a fully charged shot has a different explosion effect. Minimum charge 0.1 to 0.99, inner radius 1 meter, outer radius 2 meters, explosion damage 75. Max charge 1 second, inner radius 2.9 meters, outer radius 3, explosion damage 300. Scorcher, auto fire mode, fire rate increased from 250 to 350, mag capacity increased to 20, spare magazines decreased from 6 to 5. The Punisher Plasma, reduced recoil, fire rate increased by 20. Liberator, horizontal recoil reduced by 30%. That's my goat right there. Liberator Penetrator, horizontal recoil reduced by 30%, increased mag capacity from 30 to 45. Spare magazines decreased from 10 to 7. Interesting. Liberator Carbine, horizontal recoil reduced by 30%, ergonomics increased from 65 to 70. Reload duration reduced by 0.5 seconds. Adjudicator, horizontal recoil reduced by 30% again. Projectile damage increased from 80 to 90. Ooh. Projectile durable damage increased from 16 to 23, and mag capacity increased from 25 to 30. Still not going to use it, but nice. Tenderizer, new weapon function, 600 to 850 RPM. GR5, moved from the explosive weapon category to special weapon category. It's a pretty special weapon, not gonna lie. It's pretty special. I like it a lot. Sidearms, Verdict, armor pen increased from 2 to 3. Projectile durable damage increased from 13 to 32. Stagger strength increased from 13 to 15. Senator, armor penetration increased from 3 to 4. Wait, that's pretty good. Projectile damage increased from 175 to 200, and projectile durable damage increased from 35 to 70. Stim pistol, spread decrease. There was spread! Methinks. That's disgusting. Spread decreased from 30 to 5. Muzzle velocity increased from 80 to 200. All I'm saying is I asked for pretty much exactly that to happen. I didn't say it in a video because I was going to seem crazy saying the gun has bloom or spread, but it did. A lot of it. And I definitely said to increase that freaking muzzle velocity so you can actually hit shots. Throwing knives. Uses increased from 8 to 20. High explosive grenade. Damage increased from 400 to 800. Frag grenade. Damage increased from 250 to 500. Insane grenade. Damage increased from 150 to 300. You know what's funny? I made a video talking about how the thermite grenade's overpowered, and the player base freaked out because the freaking critical thinking doesn't exist. Lo and behold, they buffed every grenade, or most grenades. The auto cannon, new weapon function, programmable ammunition now allows you to switch between normal projectiles and flak projectiles. Flak projectiles are proximity triggered shrapnel explosions with a larger explosion radius. Repulse rifle, new weapon functionality. So same programmable switches. High explosive rounds have a larger explosion radius, deal more explosion damage, less projectile damage, and are less effective against tanks. Airburst rocket launcher, reload duration reduced by 2 seconds from 7 seconds, by the way. Okay, here's where they mentioned the stalwart previously and said that it'd have a pretty insane buff. They were definitely trolling when they said that, because the ergonomics on stalwart have been increased from 25 to 40. There's got to be a secret poison ammunition or something. There has to be. Machine gun, magazine capacity increased from 150 to 275, so 25 more shots. That's nice. Starting spare magazines increased from 1 to 2. Machine gun's meta, guys. It's really good now. Just trust me, it's so good now. Heavy machine gun. Magazine capacity increased from 75 to 100. You got more ammo. Should be 150, but we're getting there. I don't believe they reverted the durable damage change, which makes the HMG still a bit of a joke. The jump pack. Cooldown reduced from 20 to 15 seconds. Stronger thrust force. Thrust vector has been tweaked. Will now have a slightly higher jump and more forward momentum. More movement. The OhDough. Switch from AR-23 Liberator rounds to the AR-23P Liberator rounds, penetrator rounds. Armor pen increased from 2 to 3. Damage reduced from 70 to 60. And mag capacity increased from 30 to 45. Drone backpacks now have a new toggle drone function. Activate the drone, leaves the backpack and starts to perform its tasks. Deactivate the drone, returns the backpack into a passive standby state. What's the button for that though? Stratagems. Eagle strafing run. Explosion radius slightly increased. Explosion damage increased from 250 to 350. The strafing run just keeps getting buffs. It's kind of nuts. Orbital airburst strike. Salvos increased from 3 to 4. Duration between salvos increased from 3 to 4. Machine gun sentry. Magazine capacity increased from 125 to 175. Cooldown reduced from 120 to 90. Lifetime reduced from 180 to 150 seconds. Gatling sentry. Mag capacity increased from 40 to 500. 400 to 500. Cooldown reduced from 180 to 150 and lifetime reduced from 180 to 150 as well. Rocket sentry. Cooldown reduced from 180 to 150. Lifetime reduced as well. Autocannon sentry, same deal. Anti-tank mines. The mines are now only triggered by heavier enemies like Chargers, Battle Titans, Impalers, and Hulks. Damage increased from 800 to 2000. Explosion radius decreased. Can you now kill a Battle Titan? Is that possible? Because before, they would just tiptoe around them. Wait. Tesla Tower. Reduce charge-up shots cooldown from 3 to 1 second. We're back, maybe. We're back. Cooldown reduced from 150 to 120. And lifetime reduced from 180 to 150. Shield generator relay. Remove charge delay between damage taken. Increase charge rate from 300 to 400 health per second. Radius increase from 8 to 15 meters. Once the shield's down, it will no longer regenerate. Is that good though? I can't. I'm confused. Patrol spawning. Previously, once the mission was completed, but before extraction, we significantly increased patrol spawns across the entire map. Now, the increased patrol spawns are concentrated around the extraction site, with more patrols appearing the closer you are to it. This change should make patrol spawning feel more logical and reduce the penalty for players who complete the mission but still want to explore the map or collect samples. Please let us know if you still experience issues with patrol spawning. Terminids, Terminids, battle spears, legs health reduced from 300 to 200. Nursing spears, legs health reduced from 300 to 200. Hunters have a short shared area cooldown for their pounce ability and can now totally blow up if affected with enough damage. Thankfully, I think my big beef with hunters for a little bit now is that you could shoot them in the leg a couple times and then you go for a body shot and they just seem tankier because of how the health pool worked. So maybe it takes less damage to blow them up to their overall health pool. Scavengers can now blow up if affected with enough damage. Never mind, I think it's just them exploding. Moving forward. Automatons. Automaton targeting. Some enemies were able to shoot you... Automaton targeting. Some enemies were able to shoot at you without needing proper line of sight, which caused them to fire into or through walls, track you even when hidden, and ignore smoke effects. We've addressed these issues, so now you should be able to use stealth more effectively against automatons. LARPing buff, let's go! And they won't be able to shoot through walls or see you when they shouldn't. Automatons are really accurate, guys. That's crazy. Automaton projectiles. Normal small projectiles damage reduced from 40 to 35, used by enemies like Devastators, Emplacements, and Conscripts. Heavy projectile damage reduced from 65 to 60, used by enemies like the Heavy, Emplacements, and Scout Striders. Hulk Bruiser. In response to their disapproval of a newly installed cannon on the Automaton Hulk Bruiser, Super Earth High Command sent a crack commando to sabotage their production facilities. A skilled operative promptly escaped into the shadows after completing their mission. Today, still wanted by the automatons, they survived as a soldier of fortune. If you have a problem, if no one else can help, and if you can find them, maybe you can enlist John Helldiver. As a result, the automaton had to revert back using rocket launchers for their Hulk Bruisers. That's pretty big. That's a massive change. All Devastators. Head armor decreased from 2 to 1. Head health increased from 100 to 110. Berserkers. Head health decreased from 125 to 110. Heavy Devastators. The pause between their salvos has been slightly increased, providing Helldivers with a better opportunity to counterattack. All tanks. Front armor reduced from 6 to 5. Our previous tweak didn't have the intended effect on gameplay that we expected, so we reverted this back. The rear weak spot of tank's body now have their own health pool, which matches the tank's previous total health. Once the health pool is depleted, the tank will be destroyed. Additionally, these weak spots also deal 150% damage to the tank's main health. That should mean that the new tank won't be scuffed or as scuffed. Annihilator tank turrets. Annihilator tank turrets. Words are hard. The rear weak spots of the tank's body now have their own health pool, which matches the tank's previous total health. Once this health pool is depleted, same old deal. Additionally, these weak spots deal 200% damage to the tank's main health. Shredder tank turrets. Same deal. It deals 200% damage to the tank's main health. And Barrager tank turret. The turret is now destroyed if the tank body is destroyed. Nice.